Hi, it's Pete Cohen and welcome to episode 127 of the Mi365 podcast series. Today's podcast is called Mindfulness Matters. Now, does it matter? Have you heard of mindfulness? Have you heard of meditation? Most people have. Most people have maybe even tried it. But the reality is your life will transform by applying a simple daily practice. And look, don't worry, you don't have to go to the Himalayas and learn how to levitate. This is about grounding yourself. And in the podcast today, I'm going to give you practical tips, tools, and techniques to help you apply mindfulness to your life today. So sit back and enjoy episode 127 of the Mi365 podcast series, Mindfulness Matters. And this episode is brought to you by Mi365 Elite. Go and see for yourself exactly how life coaching can really help to transform your life. Head over to mi365.me/elite. That's mi365.me/elite and see how world-class coaching can seriously help you create the life that you want today. So let's get stuck into mindfulness. What is this all about? Have you heard about mindfulness? Have you heard about meditation? Most people have heard of it. Some people do it, but very few people do. And the first thing I wanted to say is that most people resist the things that they know they really need to do. Look, I want to talk to you about the nature of your mind. Yep, you have a mind. And by the way, take a finger and point to your mind. Go on, I dare you. Where are you going to point? Most people will point here. But did you know in Japan, they point here? Some people, when they point, they'll point here. Now, some people might point to somewhere else in their body, but we're not going to talk about that because some people think they think with their... Anyway, too much information. So why would you want to practice mindfulness? And you know, when you talk about this, most people think, well, have I got to become a monk? Have I got to go to the Himalayas and learn how to levitate? No. Mindfulness is a way of really helping you use this equipment and this equipment here, right? You see, if you've got any technology and something goes wrong with your technology, you get an error message. An error message comes and you know there's something wrong. Now, we don't get those error messages, we get feelings. And our feelings are often signals that there's something going on inside the body. So you might get the feeling of hunger, and that's a very clear message that you need to eat. You might get the feeling of, oh, I'm tired, and you know that you need to sleep. The same with thirst. But often when we feel emotions like stress or worry or anxiety, it's the same thing. Our bodies are giving us very, very clear messages, but we don't often listen. And I believe that we're often getting these messages because there's a part of us that wants us to relax, to find some peace. Let me explain it to you like this. There are two parts to our nervous system. There is the parasympathetic nervous system and there's the sympathetic nervous system. And the sympathetic one is the one that we activate way too much, where we pump out huge amounts of adrenaline and cortisol, you know, and this is activating so much. For most of us, we experience more stress in one day than maybe a caveman would have experienced in their whole life. And I'm sure you know that there's a massive link between stress and anxiety and having a troubled immune system and conditions like heart disease and high blood pressure and physical pain and inflammation in the body. So I want to give you 5 compelling reasons. And by the way, as I tell you all of this, I must tell you that practicing mindfulness was something I was really challenged by, because I have a very, very active mind and my mind can literally just jump all over the place. And the whole concept of the whole idea of slowing down was a massive threat to me. And I resisted it for a long, long, long time until I became very sick. So in my 20s, I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue, and I was diagnosed with ME, and I was teaching aerobics, and I was running around and presenting to large groups of people. I really didn't know how to calm myself down. I had one mode of operating through the world, and that mode of operating probably would have killed me if I hadn't become ill. And I believe that becoming ill, and it lasted for a long time, maybe 10 years, I wanted people to give me the answer. I wanted people to make me better. But nothing I really did that anyone gave me made me better. And it was only when I took the time to really reflect on how I could manage myself and manage my energy. It's the most valuable thing that we all have, right? We are just a vibrating energy source. And to learn how to use our energy more effectively, that's what mindfulness can do. So I believe that through you practicing this, and this is my challenge to you, to go from mindlessness to mindfulness. And if you said to me, Pete, what's the difference? Mindfulness is really about you becoming aware of new things. So many ways that our brains work are just automatic. We have automatic ways of moving through the world. And I believe that your regular practice of mindfulness, which really is meditation, will make you a better person. It will make you more aware as we now look at those 5 compelling reasons. And I ask you to think about which one of these 5 is the most important to you. So the first one is strength training for your brain. Strength training for your brain. Now take a moment to think about Arnold Schwarzenegger in his heyday. Fantastic chiseled body. It might not be your ideal, but you can tell he spent a long time creating that body, right? And then think of someone like the Dalai Lama, someone who has spent most of his life meditating. Now, if you think that Arnold has spent years chiseling his body, the Dalai Lama has been chiseling his brain. And the reason why meditation is like strength training for your brain, because it allows you to focus your attention. In 1971, a gentleman who won the Nobel Prize actually said the biggest issue at the moment is too much information. So there's too much information, which is taking our attention away from the things that are important. Now, let me ask you that. That was 1971. 1971. There were no answering machines. There were no personal computers. There were no iPhones. There was no VHS recorders. 1971. There was no internet. And now look at the world. There is so much information, and you know that you and me, we're all distracted. And I believe that our attention is the most valuable commodity that we own. But we have to train that attention, and that's what mindfulness can do, to help you take your wandering mind and bring it back to one pointed attention. So that's the first reason, and we could go into that in great detail, but I think the most important thing is to take these 5 reasons and to decide, hey Pete, you paint a very good picture, there's like the picture behind me, of a compelling reason I need to start practicing mindfulness. But the biggest challenge you face in practicing mindfulness is getting out of your own way and just getting started. And my goal for you is one day you'll meet me and you go, what, Pete? Thank you so much for sharing that with me, because it's no longer a chore. It's no longer something I feel I have to do. It's a gift that I'm giving myself every single time I do it. So the second reason you might want to practice mindfulness is it helps with willpower. And this has actually been proven. Willpower outpredicts IQ. You could be the most intelligent person on the planet, but willpower is your ability to do the things you need to do even when you don't feel like it. And regular mindfulness practice, what it helps you to do is to recognize the space between being stimulated to do something and actually doing it, that space, and realizing, you know what, I've got a choice here. Most of us are very much victim to our impulses. But what you find is, if you think of willpower like a muscle, the more you practice mindfulness, the stronger your willpower muscle will become, and you'll find that you just make better decisions and you become a better version of yourself. What's the third reason? Well, would you like to be healthier? Would you like a stronger immune system? That's a stupid question, because of course you do. Mindfulness has also been shown to help people boost their immune system so their bodies are more effective at fighting off things like the common cold, viruses, infections. It's such a simple thing to do. And of course, when things are so simple to do, they're very simple not to do. It doesn't cost you anything apart from your time. And there are so many things in life that you can lose, like money, even your health. And you can get these things back, but time is one thing that you can't get back. And what I've noticed with the thousands of people who I've taught mindfulness practice to over the years, many people feel that they just have more time. And the fourth reason, and this to me was fascinating, it's all to do with epigenetics. There's a picture up here, it says eat right. I'm sure you can just see it up there. There's a little picture of a man up there. That's actually Dr. Rakowski, who's one of the top nutritionists in the world. There he is, one of the top nutritionists in the world. And I went to see him when my wife was very, very sick. My wife wasn't given very long to live. And he was talking about because I was getting her DNA tested. And he said, look, DNA testing it's okay, but it doesn't take into account what's called epigenetics. And epigenetics is all about how your genes express themselves based on how you live your life. So you might be predisposed to heart disease because your mum or your dad or Alzheimer's, but there are lifestyle choices that we can make every single day that can really change how our genes express themselves. And mindfulness is an incredibly powerful way. And you can look this gentleman up, a guy called Herbert Benson, an incredible scientist, very, very intelligent, but he's into science, and he's looked at all of these incredible studies, and some of them he's conducted himself, on mindfulness. Mindfulness matters. And if I haven't painted a big enough reason for you to do it, let me tell you lastly, and this isn't a reason why some people do it. Some people use mindfulness practice to tap into what some people might call a higher source. Now, I'm not here to talk to you about God. My grandma always said, don't talk about sex, money, religion, or politics. And, I touch on those occasionally. But this whole thing of tapping into a power that's bigger than yourself. My favorite book ever written, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, he called it infinite intelligence. Tapping into a power or power source where you can be grounded. And again, it's up to you. You might think that's a whole load of nonsense. But some people won't. They'll go, you know what, Pete? Yeah, I want to feel more grounded. I want to tap into the energy sources that exist around me, to nature, to whatever it is that you want. There's not much more than nature, right? Nature is, if it wasn't for nature, we wouldn't be here. Anyway, which one of those reasons is going to be your reason to practice mindfulness? And what we'll do is in the show notes, I will put, we'll make it available for you to get access to one of our mindfulness practices called priming, which is an amazing way of developing gratitude and developing a sense of where you're going with your life. We'll make that available to you so you can actually practice something. And please remember, the hardest thing to do with practice is just get started. If you want to be inspired, don't sit there and go, I don't feel like it, because if you don't feel like it, you won't do anything. You get to feel good by action. So finally, let me just recap. Which one of those 5 reasons is the most compelling to you? Is it strength training for your brain? One-pointed attention. Do you want to get good at that? 2, do you want to boost your willpower? 3, do you want to boost your immune system? 4, do you want to really help the way your genes express themselves so the healthy expression of your genes is switched on? And 5, do you want to tap into some form of infinite intelligence? Thank you very much indeed. This is so real, right? We're really here. We're really doing this. Thank you so much for watching episode 126 or listening. If you enjoy this, please make a comment. If you're watching this on iTunes, we're still in the top 10 after 2 years. on the news and noteworthy category. If you're looking at this on our website, again, make some comments, share it. Let's get this information out there. Take a moment to imagine what your life would be like if you practice this for an extended period of time, your health, your well-being, and it would change the world. This could save the National Health Service on its own, and that's just in the UK. This is the most incredible tool, but it's about you taking responsibility. There's no pill you can take for this, but it's a pill you can decide to take yourself every single day by actually practicing it. So thank you so much for watching. And finally, remember, this episode was brought to you by Mi365 Elite, the #1 coaching opportunity in the world. If you don't believe me, go to mi365.me/elite and see for yourself what world-class coaching can do for you. We appreciate you, every single one of you. Thank you for watching. Take care, but most importantly, take action. All the best, and we'll see you soon.